We'll see.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Studio Wesley Live. Tonight, I am hosting. I'm Allison, if we haven't met, and we're very glad you're here. So I have 3 people on our panel tonight, and I'm just going to do quick little introductions for all of them. So we're going to do, tell us who you are. Actually, I'm going to say your names, but close enough. Tell us who you are, how you're doing, and then I want to know what your favorite piece of media that you're currently engaging in is or engaged in. So like TV show, books. Yeah, I already had this question picked out before we were talking behind the scenes. So, but we're going to do books, TV shows, movies, art, whatever it is you're interested in, music, just something that you are currently engaging in or you just finished engaging in that you are loving. So, Grace, go ahead. How are you?
Oh, that's a risky question.
It is.
So hi. Well, first, hello. Yes, hi.
I'm Grace. Y'all probably know me, but if you don't, hi, I'm Grace. I'm doing all right. I'm in Atlanta, and there was supposed to be an ice storm, and I'm happy it wasn't as bad as it was supposed to be because like we have so many people that live outside, and so it's nice when the weather isn't as horrendous as it could be. And also I was sad. Because I wanted
a whole thing. I wanted a whole like break. You guys can hear me, right?
We can hear you. Your mic is doing something weird, and I'm not sure what it is. You sound a little gremlin-y, but we can hear
Testing.
Yeah, you do look like a gremlin.
Okay, I still sound like a gremlin?
No, now you sound like a beautiful.
Okay.
You're good now. You're
Thank
good now.
you. All right. Thank you. Thank you for coming back to our podcast.
Yeah, I'm glad that the weather isn't as bad as it could be because we have a lot of folks that live outside, and I'm glad it wasn't as horrible as it could be for them. And also, I was excited for a storm. I was excited to just get like snowed in, iced in.
And I know. I think. Wait, is there like a wire that needs to be like pushed in or like maybe twisted a little bit?
I don't know. Here, come back to me. Come back to me.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll go to Vendela for now. We might have to have Gremlin Grace tonight, though, if it comes down to it. But Vendela, how are you? What's your favorite piece of media that you're engaging in right now?
I'm good. I'm in Tampa, so I went to the beach today. It's really hot here, so like my whole extended family group chat is like kind of going a little bit crazy because they all live up north, and I sent them a photo of the beach and they didn't like that very much. So Yeah, I think that my favorite piece of media that I've been interacting with recently is I Love LA. It's a TV show. Um, oh my gosh, I forget her name, but like, Rachel Sonnet, really amazing, funny comedian girly. Wrote it. She pitched it to, I want to say HBO, but I don't know because I'm watching it off a platform that I'm not going to say because I didn't want to pay for it. But I think it's on HBO. And she pitched it to HBO. She actually didn't even pitch it to HBO. She pitched two other ideas and then she went on a rant about like her personal life. And they, called their agent after she left and she called their agent. She was like, I think it went horrible. I don't think they're going to pick my ideas. And they were like, no, don't beat yourself up, whatever. They call her back the next day. They're like, oh my gosh, they're picking up your show. Such a big deal. She was like, oh my gosh, which idea did they pick? This one or this one? And they're like, no, they don't care about those. They want to make a show about your life because it sounds so insane. So the show is kind of like loosely based on just like things that have happened to her while she's been living in LA. And she's really funny. So of course it's hilarious. And it's really accurate, like really just like the interactions of influencers and like people that are friends but like not really, and then like TikTok, like what is it, like mining, like getting views and just like silly like weird things. And it's like this friend group and like all of them are just trying to survive low key. Like half of them are nepo, half of them are just struggling to buy groceries, no in between, of course. And it's really funny and I've enjoyed it. They just renewed it for another season too. So yeah.
And you said that it is on both a platform you will not name, but also HBO.
I'm pretty sure it's on HBO.
Okay.
It's called I Love LA. It's so good. It's really funny.
Yeah, I loved it. I love to hear it. Wow, words. This is why I'm not usually the host. Thank you, Vendela. Taylor, how are you and what is your favorite piece of media you're engaging in right now?
Yes, I'm doing well. Although I'm also in Florida, I'm in Jacksonville. It was kind of nice outside, but the weather is very weird. So, but anyway, yeah, I had the same thing like Vanilla. Like, I have a uncle that lives in New Jersey, and they got like a whole bunch of snow, and then they're just embarrassed that like we don't have the snow, and like my mom had the fireplace on. They're just like, "Oh, you're lucky." I'm like, "Yeah, where?" But anyway, long story short, when I think about like media, I don't have the time to like watch media, so I could just think of like different TV shows I like to watch. So some examples are like Food Network shows because I like to like cook and bake. Um, some shows on TV TLC, like Civil Go Johnson's, which is a show about a family with achondroplasia dwarfism. So they're like tiny people, and then it shows how they like navigate their life and like life challenges. So I like shows like that. So yeah.
Yeah, those are the kinds of shows that I never watch like start to finish, but I find myself like randomly turning them on sometimes and I'm just like zeroed in on them. And I don't know why, but they catch my attention. We're going to try Grace again. Grace, how are you and piece of media?
Yeah, I hope I'm better now.
You
better.
don't sound gremlin-y.
Great. I mean, for now, at least I'm better. That's good. Well, my favorite piece of media.
I'm gonna be so normal about it, you guys. I'm gonna be so normal about it.
I think you just go for it and we hope for the best.
Yeah, that's me being normal.
Is like screaming into the microphone and shaking this book. I love heated rivalry. I love heated rivalry. I love heated rivalry. I know there's like a lot of like hee hee ha ha, like immediate things that might come to mind if you've heard of this TV show slash book in a book series, in the Game Changers book series. There's like a lot of immediate things that might come to mind. I love it because it is a beautiful queer love story. And we get such beautiful one autism representation in Shane Hollander. Ilya Rozanov is a chaos demon, and I love him. It's just good. There's a lot of like turmoil with like you get like
I fear, Grace, that we went from Gremlin Grace to not being able to hear you at all. So I don't want to cut you off, but something's going on with your mic. You're also freezing a little bit now, which is so silly because before we started, everything was working perfectly. But that's the thing with live streams. Sometimes there are things that are out of our control. But thank you for sharing about Heated Rivalry, and for also hitting on the aspects that I think people don't always think about when they hear the name of the show. So I am also in Tampa. So I've been getting the same messages from family all throughout the whole day today, where it's like, look at all this snow that we're currently surviving in, and I'm like, I'm sweating. So I'm okay. There's a lot going on in my life, so I'm a little tired, but I'm glad to be here. My favorite piece of media right now, I wish it's too far. I can't bring my book like Grace did. I'm reading a book called Play Nice. It's kind of cool. It's kind of a little bit thrillery. So there's like these three girls who like their mom loses custody of them when they're little because the dad's like, oh, but she's crazy. She can't have her kids. But in reality, it's like she's living in this house and she thinks there's a demon in it. And then the kids are all older, and that's like where the book starts, and the mom dies. That's like the start of the book. And you find out that the mom wasn't actually crazy. So it's like a whole thing. Good book so far. I won't go too far into it, but I'm really enjoying it. And like the twists and turns of it have been really good so far. It's also a little cheesy. Like it's not super deep, but it's like a surface level thriller. So I'm enjoying that. But yeah, so glad to have you all here. Grace, hopefully we'll have your mic working for the rest of the show. But we're glad you guys are all here.
I think my laptop is just trying its best and not succeeding. So I'm on my phone now.
Okay, you sound good right now. So
thanks.
Cool.
Thanks.
With that, with a working mic, we'll go into highlights of the week. Grace, since I tried. We're gonna double banner today because the music's so catchy. Grace, since I tried to start with you with introductions and you couldn't go, do you want to go first for highlights of the week?
I'll try. I'll try really hard. Yeah, my highlight of the week. Honestly, it is increasingly difficult to find a highlight in this current state of existence. That's as much as I'll say about it, but it's tough to find a highlight. And yet, Harry Styles came out with new music. I'm so excited. It's called Aperture. So he released, like, he loves to do this thing where he just like disappears for a long time and then just throws a bunch of content at us, and this is happening again. So he like announced the album that comes out, I think like March 6th or something, called Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally. And then he announced tour dates and he released Aperture. I love it. It came out when I was in the middle of a 3-hour class from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Thursday night. And so I found the one person who loves Harry Styles in the room, and I was like, Aaron, it came out. And so I used my 10-minute break in that class to listen to it, and it was magical. It's really good. People were like, it doesn't sound like disco. And like, I was raised on disco. It's not disco, but it is very like kind of techno, but not really, but like pop take on like house or like club music. So I love it. It's also very heated rivalry. Like, I've already seen people are quick with the edits. People are making like edits to this song with the book and with the TV series. But it's good, and I'm really happy about it. And we deserve happy things in life.
I love
like, the one good thing happened this week. So
yeah. First of all, I felt that. Also, I love that your highlight now connects with my opening question. Grace, I don't know if I've ever revealed this in our friendship, and if I haven't, I'm so sorry, but I actually am not, like, I don't not like Harry Styles. I'm just not like, I don't seek out Harry Styles. I'm pulling a Derrick. I'm like revealing myself on the internet right now.
That's fine. Harry Styles doesn't seek you out either.
But I'm going to listen to it. Now I sound like Derrick too. What's happening? But
Allison promises to listen to media.
We have a new face teching tonight. You don't see his face, but it's Zach's first night teching, so you probably cannot make that same joke. But that means I'm not promising anything. Wins for me. No, I'm excited that you have that though. I definitely have seasons. Like, I honestly don't know why my highlight wasn't Noah Kahan's tease of his new song, because I definitely have people like that too, where it's like, in all else, if someone releases new music, I feel okay. And that's something I have in that moment. So thank you, Grace. Vendela, what's your highlight this week?
My highlight is kind of like we were kind of saying, because everything is so sad and bad right now. I think it came from that, which maybe it's good. But I'm a really big fan of women's sports in general. I'm actually wearing a Tampa Sun hat, which is our women's football club in Tampa. They just won their championship last season. But I follow basketball pretty closely, soccer not quite as much. And they are having their spin-off season right now, or kind of like spin-off like mini season called Unrivaled, and it was started by two WNBA players actually, and that's where they actually make their money because the CBA and the WNBA pays them nothing. News we already know. So, they're in the middle of negotiations about that. That's a story for another time. But they're in this Unrivaled season, which is really cool. It's a very intimate setting. It's essentially like a smaller court. The rules are a little different. So they play sort of like street ball, where it's like high energy, like lots of stuff happening. Like I just, before I got on, was watching a video and one of the players just did like a crazy dunk. Like it was just it's so fun. And they get paid a lot too, which is awesome. The sponsorships are really great this year. Like Sephora sponsored it, Sprite sponsored it. Like it's just really awesome. And all the activations, the tunnel fits are insane. Like it's doing really well. And they're even talking about having like extending the season if the CBA doesn't agree on good pay for them, and just not having a W season. But during this, like all these activations and contests throughout this season of these like very quick action-packed games, there's a free throw competition. And Paige Beckers, who was the number 1 draft pick this past season, she is just an insane player. And she's also super just an amazing person, activist, like awesome. She's gay, another awesome thing. But she is really cool and decided that with her earnings, she won from this free throw competition. She's also a rookie, which is insane. She's playing with like legends, all the best W players that are in this league. And she won it. She won $50K. And so they asked her, they're like, oh, what are you going to do with it? Like in an interview. And she was like, don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about it. And it came out, like she didn't announce it, but it came out that she had donated the $50K to her hometown. I forget exactly where it is up north, but it's really being affected by ICE raids right now. And she decided not only to donate the $50K, but match it. So she's donating now $100K to her hometown to support families that can't leave their houses because they're afraid of ICE, or for people that are losing their SNAP benefits due to the federal government. So it's really cool to see that people are doing that, especially people like Paige, who she gets paid a lot, but like in the grand scheme of insane professional sports like players, she gets paid like nothing, and she's doing that. So it's just like really inspiring to see that, and also hopefully it kind of enables other people that are in positions of influence like her to use that influence for good like her. So yeah, that's my highlight.
Yeah, and I appreciate you bringing this, because I think that, like, we've said this already a million times on this episode, but like with all the things that's currently clouding our news feeds on Facebook and Instagram and just the news, if you're someone who watches the news, that's not me, but I know some people do. You're hearing it all over the place. You're always in contact right now with everything happening in our country. And so I think it's nice to like uplift a story like this with something that's like, obviously it's not steps that we can all take, but someone is using their platform in this way that's helpful. And it's just good to hear that there are good people in the world who are trying to do these things with the platform and with the resources that they have. So appreciate you bringing that today. Taylor, what's your highlight this week?
Yes, so my highlight of the week, so for many of you that don't know, my career is I'm an ESL interpreter, and I was trying to like find like one a positive thing, but also like something that I can like relate to as a person. So I came across something that there's this man that became the Pittsburgh Steelers fan of the year last year, and he is deaf himself. So his name is Hayden Shock. He is in Arlington, Virginia. He was born with golden horse syndrome. don't know what that is. Sorry. He has a service dog, which is cool, and he works like as like a federal employee for the General Services Administration. And so like how he got into football was that his father was like a lifelong like Steelers fan, and he decided to like follow in his dad's footsteps. And so they watched like the Steelers games together, and sorry, I'm like reading from the link a little bit. So long story short, like at his last semester at Gallaudet, which for those who don't know, is a famous deaf college in Washington D.C., he went into kidney failure, and so he went after graduating. He went on to dialysis for a year before he received a kidney transplant from a living donor. And then, like, since that, he became, like, involved in the transplant case of America. So he's been he's been an advocate for, like, organ donation and how it's important to, like, donate your organs. So, all in all, I really like this highlight because it shows, like, deaf people can be recognized for what they do when a lot of times they are not recognized, and they can do great things that most hearing people think they can't do. So yeah.
Yeah, it's representation, and I think of like the younger kid who's deaf and is wondering why there's nobody like them in the news, and so I appreciate stories like this because it gives younger kids and just everybody things to kind of, one, if they're not as aware of what it is like to be deaf and the different pieces that go into deafness and deaf culture and all the things, they get kind of an example of it, but also for those who are deaf, like having that example and having that representation in the media is also just a really great thing. So thank you, Taylor, for bringing that. My highlight this week, so I also was having a hard time finding something, but I recently, I've experienced loss in my family, so it's been a rough few weeks for me. So I'm very big right now on like finding the little things, and just like what can help bring me joy in these moments while we're going through all of the grief. So I had one of my friends had this thing, and I really liked it, and I told my fiance about it. And then for Christmas, I got it from his brother and sister-in-law, so my future in-laws. It's a shower lamp. That's all it is. It's a shower lamp, fancy, lampy. That's Mike for sure, pre-writing that out. That's his language right there. But it is literally, so it doesn't plug in. It's rechargeable, but like the charging port has like a silicone thing that seals it and covers it. So you can just turn off all of the other big, really awful lights, and you can just shower with a shower lamp, and it has different color settings, and it's got like a top light and like a bottom light, so you can do like different, it's a whole thing. It is the coolest thing I own, and every single night when I get in the shower, it brings me joy, and that's all I needed. So that's what I wanted to share tonight. That's it. It's a shower lamp. Anybody wants to see a picture of it, ask me and I'll send it later. I can send you videos too. You can take the top off and it like swirls. 10 out of 10.
We'll see it
That's
on the
cool.
post this week as well, won't we?
We will. I just pulled the picture from like, it is an Amazon thing, and I don't usually shop on Amazon anymore.
I'm just kidding. I literally do that. But I thought I'd scare you a little bit, so.
It worked. I'm just kidding. But so the link will be in the thing, and I just snagged the Amazon picture for it. But it is super cool. 10 out of 10. Do recommend a shower lamp if you're looking for like little ways to like brighten up your life. It's good for a bath. It's good for a shower. Awesome. So with that, we are going to go into our announcements. And since I'm hosting tonight, I'm actually going to throw it to Grace to do our announcements.
Hello. Long time no see, friends. I have the privilege of giving you your announcements, and it's the same one that you're like crossing your fingers for, hoping that it's still the case, and it is. We have community group tonight. It's at 6:45, so just as soon as our little stream ends. And you can, if you don't have the link already, you can reach out to us. You can DM us. We'll get it over to you. But it's a great time to just chit chat, get to know each other a bit more, have some discussion post Studio Wesley Live. So we would love to see you there. We would love to see you.
Yeah, thank you, Grace. So that is all of our first half. So we'll move into segment 2, Words from the World. So Words from the World looks a little different this week because we actually thought, I did not know I was hosting right away. We thought Derrick was going to be in this episode. So I assigned this to Derrick, and you all might have noticed there is no Derrick on the screen. So he pre-recorded it for us, and we're going to play that video for you now.
What's up, Studio Wesley Live, here with this episode's Word from the World. It is about the Walk for Peace. The Walk for Peace is 18 Buddhist monks who are on this sort of trek, this pilgrimage across multiple states in our country. It started in October in Fort Worth, Texas. They're going to travel ultimately 2,300 miles from that point to, they intend to stop in DC in mid-February. There's a lot in the article that you want to read about, just sort of the different motivations and ways they're thinking about what they're doing, their response to things happening in this world. You particularly want to pay attention to the information about, I believe, their rescue dog. I believe their name is Aloka. So much going on here, so much to be inspired by, and interest. It actually like awakens my interest. But this is one of the quotes from one of the lead monks. This is what they said about the Walk for Peace. We walk not to protest, but to awaken the peace that already lives within each of us. And I thought it'd be good for us to think about this, like this word from the world, this way, this particular way of responding to the chaos, to the dysfunction, to the things that are happening both in our country and around our world. Like their way is to walk for peace, which there's a long tradition of people marching as both protest, but also prayer and response and presence. And I thought it'd be interesting both to look at how these monks are responding to this moment. And then what does it mean for us? Like, what is our response? And I know there's a lot of folks who post in social media about their positions, and there's that is helpful and there's appreciation, but and sometimes like that's all we can do, but sometimes that's not all we can do. And sometimes the responses are much bolder and much more direct protests than the intention, at least of these monks. So I just thought it'd be really good discussion tonight, briefly all together, but a brief discussion on the Walk for Peace and how that might inspire us to address some of the things that are happening in our world. And so I leave it to our panel tonight.
Yeah, before I pass it on to the panel to talk more about it, I just want to name something Derrick didn't name. When I was reading the article, it said that the dog's name, Aloka, translates to divine light. And I just want to put that here before we move on to anything else, because I think that is so pure and I loved it so much when I was reading it. So Vindala, any thoughts on Derrick's words from the world?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting too, because I read the article and it was like specifically saying that when they interviewed the leader monk that owns Aloka, they were talking to him like, oh, like, you know, why are you guys doing this, whatever. And he was very adamant, I guess as adamant as a monk can be, that it was a walk for peace and it wasn't a walk for protest or a walk for anything else. And I think my initial feeling toward that, especially right now, is I'm a little irked by that, just because I'm so quick to be like, oh my gosh, like literally horrible things are happening. How can you not protest something like this? But I think that reflecting on that quick urge to be upset about it immediately is sort of just adding fuel to this fire of chaos that is happening right now. I think I also want to leave space for everybody that, you know, interprets this differently. If some people think that violent protest is right, or peaceful protest, or a peace march, or protest in general, or no protest, or being active on their socials or whatever. I think that it's so important to hold space for how people react to stuff like this, but I really respect the way that they're doing it because I think it's really interesting. I think it makes a statement. Now, is it a big enough statement to be heard by the people that can make decisions? I'm not sure, but I really admire it and I think it's really awesome. And I am not going to critique it in a negative way because, to be honest, like they're doing something, and I think that's really important and it's really admirable.
Yeah, and I appreciate both sides that you named here, right? Like there is this little piece of you that's like, there are other things that we could be doing right now than just walking. But also this understanding that like we all are processing and reacting and working through what's happening in our world today in different ways. And for them, this is probably the most meaningful way to them of everything going on for them to work through it. So I appreciate that you kind of have that double take in there of like, I think differently, but also they're doing something. And, you know,
And there's even
they might
moments
not
where
prefer it on the screen.
yeah, and there's even moments where I don't think like that is the right way. And then there's moments where I'm so mad that I'm like, no, like there's no way I can walk for peace right now. Are you kidding me? Like there's no way I can do that. And
Yeah.
then I think there's moments where I'm like, no, like we should all walk for peace. So I think it's just it's funny. I'm trying to be very aware of how I react to things, especially now. Like my initial reaction, and then also like how I feel later on after I've sort of like digested, I guess, things.
Yeah, because there's like initial thoughts, and then there's like, okay, now that I've let this sit, how am I feeling about it all? Yeah. Taylor, any thoughts on Derrick's word from the world?
Yeah, so when I like first heard about like the general walk for peace, like I didn't really have a lot of information on it. So like reading this article like really caught my eye. Like one of the things is like some of them are like wearing sandals and some of them are going like barefoot. And I think that kind of tells something too because like that's kind of brave. Especially like now when like it's cold up there. I'm like, how are you guys gonna survive like walking through all of that? Like barefoot, that's kinda like brave to like do that, I guess. And it's also cool like when the monk that got like hit and like lost their leg that they're like still walking somehow. I'm like, how? You're very brave, you're very strong for doing that. But that really like also goes to show that like no matter what, this is our goal and I wanna like support it and like continue doing it. And like they're um they are they're sleeping in tents and they are like getting like food and sustenance from other people and that's good too. I'm kind of like happy in a way because like they haven't really gotten like a negative reaction from people. Like you haven't seen like a negative reaction. Like people might be saying it and it's not coming out on the media, but the fact that they've been able to do this for a couple months now and not really get like a negative reaction or like something bad happen to all of them is kind of good. So I think I think it's a good thing. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Taylor. I mean, I think a lot of what you're saying too adds into, and I saw it in the article. I'm not as good at saving my thoughts for after you guys speak like Derrick is. You know, something that I saw in the article a lot was talking about like resilience and everything that's going on around them and to them as they are doing these walks. And so I feel like a lot of what you're speaking to is about like that resilience, like the way that they are just walking barefoot or in sandals, right? Everything going on with the weather. The things that they're going through while they're on this walk, because it's not an easy feat to do it. That was like kind of a pun, but an unintentional pun because they're walking on their bare feet. Yeah, so I think it speaks to like a lot of their resilience. Grace, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have quite a few thoughts on this from like a couple different angles, kind of similar to Vendela, where I'm like, I'm not as frustrated. Like I highly respect, like, this is a spiritual journey for the monks, and like they also have an end goal, which I didn't realize until I saw this article. But their plan once they get to DC is to ask Congress to recognize Vesak or Vesak. I am having a hard time pronouncing it, and so I'm going to learn how to pronounce it later. But the day celebrating the Buddha's birthday and enlightenment as a federal holiday. And so with that would then give, like, the average American who's looking at a calendar the opportunity to be like, what does this day mean? Okay, well, this is a day that symbolizes, like, reflection and peace and hope, and, like, it, like, invites more people into that, like, contemplative spirituality. And that's a respectable end goal, especially, like, yeah, let's get another religious holiday on the calendar that's not, like, based on, like, white Christianity, you know, like, that's great. What stresses me out is the way that, like, the people have reacted, I think. So I live in Atlanta, like I've said plenty of times, and the monks actually traveled through Atlanta. In a couple of different spots, people were, like, congregated to see them, and I was out of town. I was up with my family in Kentucky, and so I didn't get to go, which made me sad because I did want to go see them. But also, the main monk, the leader, has had to wait. Let me get his name because I want to properly cite him. But essentially, he has spoken a lot about how, like, people keep, like, interrupting them. Okay, so Bhikkhu Hanakara is the leader in this, and so Hanakara has, like, talked about how people keep, like, interrupting them, or, like, kind of, like, people want to, like, join the walk, which, like, sounds cool initially, but then it's like, well, this is not your walk, random white lady, for example. This is not your walk. And so it's interesting to me just the way that people will, like, latch onto something as this, like, oh, I want to do this now, or this, like this walk is offering hope and peace, or its intent is to offer hope and peace, and then people are reacting with this, like, joy and this, like, hope and, like, this peace that they feel, but then they're, like, commandeering feels like too strong of a word, but close enough. They're close enough to it, and, like, not really recognizing, like, the intent of the monks. And so it's interesting to me, and, like, frustrating interesting, not like, oh wow, this is really cool interesting, but, like, upsetting, like, interesting, how people will, like, see something, not listen to the actual message of it, and be like, oh, I'm gonna take this thing now and do what I want with it. Which is, like, a more common thing that happens, and that's not what everybody's doing with the monks, but people are, like, interrupting them, or they're, like, having them, like, stop and, like, talk and, like, all these different things, or, like, people are filming them, and even, like, I'm pretty sure Hanakara has, like, talked about how he doesn't really want people to be filmed and everything, or, like, the fact that there was an injury because of, like, the car being messed with, like, and one of them lost his leg. That's horrible. That's horrible. And so I'm stressed for them, and it makes me more excited for them, and I think, like, there is something about people doing something for, like, a positive goal, that then when they are, like, barred from doing that, that whole circumstance is representative of a problem, and it, like, speaks for itself in that way. That's all I should say about the topic, I think. But I am happy that they're doing well. I'm happy that, like, they have support. I'm happy people have been positively impacted by it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think first off, I just want to name that I think everything you said is valid too, because I think that thinking about why they're walking to DC right now, right? I feel like people just wanting to be like, yeah, I'm going to join you and start walking. I feel like that kind of counteracts like the whole point of it, because they're not in it in the same way, and they're not like understanding in the same way of why they're doing it. And so I feel like it messes with it, right? Because they're just, like you said, they're just taking that thing and they're not.
And that's a liability. That's a liability for Panakara.
It is. So I appreciate that take too. And I think that everything you guys brought into it are all pieces of an important conversation. I thought it was interesting. I think that when I initially read the article, I couldn't fully form like how I feel one way or the other about it. I think that I believe that people do things that are right for them in that moment. So with everything going on, with their goal in mind, this is the thing that is right for them. When it comes to like acts of like resilience or acts of peace, or even like acts of protest, right? Because there are cases of like silent protest or like peaceful, where people just kind of sit and they just wait things out. And so I think I don't know if enjoy is the right word, but I absorbing this, I think, was good for my brain, just to see like a way in which some body of people is doing something. And I think also in the article, it's like 15 of them. I think when I initially read it, I was picturing like a large group, but I think it's like 15 of them. So I think it's just a message of like, we all absorb all of these things that are happening in different ways, and we all might have different ways of trying to build our hope, build our resilience, build our protest, build our fight against everything that's going on. And so thinking about what those things mean to you, and what is right for you in these moments, and the way that this is what's right for these monks in this moment. So thank you, Derrick. I know you're not here, for bringing that piece to us for us to discuss. A little bit different twist on Words from the World, because we couldn't discuss it with the person who actually brought it to us. But thank you for bringing it, and thank you guys for having the conversation. So we'll take a few minutes just to reflect on all the things, and we'll go ahead and do our soul break. So we're going to close ourselves out with another video from Derrick tonight. So he can't be with us, but he is giving us our closing per usual, which he does when he is not here. So we'll go ahead and play that for you now.
Hey friends, it's been a really great episode of Studio Wesley Live. As we're ending this evening, I just want to acknowledge that there's just so much happening in this world, and it can just feel like way too much. It's in times like this that our faith in a loving and compassionate God gets shaken. And I think there's lots of reasons why that happens. One of the reasons, I think, though, is that we don't know why. We don't know why these things are happening. We don't know what the answer is. And I just want to say that, one, that's super valid, like valid to have our faith shaken when we see things happening in our country, see things happening across the planet. And we're like, I don't know the reason. I don't know how this is going to work out. And that definitely shakes our faith. And I do believe that God is a God of answers. I do. But I also believe that God is a God of presence. That sometimes it's not so much that there's an answer as much as we are here, and we are here together in the midst of it. And no, again, that doesn't answer it. That doesn't fix it. And yet, God is with us in the midst of it all. And so to say that for me, what I've often learned to do in moments like this, moments of confusion, moments of bewilderment, moments of chaos, what I've done is I've brought that with me into prayer and worship and meditation, and even silence. I've brought the I don't know feeling with me. And in a weird way, ways that I can't even put words to, it has helped. It has helped me make it through moments where I'm like, what is the purpose of this? And so my encouragement tonight is that you would remember that, yes, there is a sense that God is a God of answers. But I would argue that even more so, God is a God of presence, that even in this moment, God is with us. And so, as we're closing, I found this prayer from my friend Mike Wang, who runs a Substack account called Oikon Studios. He posted this prayer this morning, and I thought it would be really good for us to close. So, hear these words as we end tonight, friends. May you be strong enough to be gentle. May your presence create a little quiet where you stand. May you know the God who walks slowly with those of differing class and politics. May you see the image of God in the face of your enemy. May you love generously without expectation of return. May you be at peace without the last word. In the name of the one who invites us to ponder the absence of reward when we love only those who love us in return. Amen. Friends, thanks for joining us for Studio Wesley Live. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Be well.
I just want to give a quick thank you to our panel and to Derrick for his recordings and to Zach for teching for us tonight. I think it's been a great episode. I'll see some of you guys in community group tonight, or I'll see you next week. I will not see you next week. I will not be here next week, but some hosts and panels will see you next week on Studio Wesley Live. Grace will be here. Yes, Grace will be here. With that, you guys have a good rest of your night. Bye.